Hey, what's up? This video is a little bit different. I've got an app idea. I wanted to show how I came up with it. I'm not sure if it's any good yet. I posted a video sort of what the app idea is, but I want to talk about the origins of the app idea, which just sort of came to me this morning at 6 a.m. And I want to take you through that. Hi, I'm Paul Solt from Super Easy Apps. I'm an iPhone and Mac app developer, and I'm working on creating some new lesson materials and playing around with YouTube, and I wanted to make a tool to improve an experience. So let's talk about the app idea, how I came up with it. It's solving a need or a potential need that I have, which you might have. I want to do presentations live. I sort of want to use Keynote, but I don't want to use Keynote. And I write everything in Markdown. And I was wondering, can I leverage the Markdown to do something interesting so that I'm able to show some slides? So for example, I use Marked 2 with multi-Markdown, and then I was filming a video where I was going through all of these all of these shortcuts over on the right. It was a 30-minute video, and then at the end I was like, I don't really like the presentation because I'm talking through it. You can sort of see them. I'm scrolling through them. I'm talking about all of them. And it didn't feel right to me. Like, it was okay content, but it wasn't great content. And then I thought this morning, well, what if I just present one of these at a time? How can I do that? And I thought, okay, I can edit this in post when I'm going through and actually editing the video, but I don't really want to edit anything. So could I make a tool that would solve part of that problem? And that brought me to my super easy timer that I've been working on, and I've got a new version coming out soon that's got some new styling. It can be over full screen apps, and it's got all kinds of fun stuff. It can get nice and big, and it's minimalist so that when you leave it after 5 seconds, it hides controls and you just sort of focus on the content. Now, it still needs some tweaking. I'm playing around with it, but that's kind of the gist of what I was going for. So if I can just make this smaller, stick this in the corner, and then it should snap down here, then we're good to go. So that's super easy timer, and that's a new version that's not out yet. But that led me to think about, well, what if I had some other app, and I've got an iPad in front of me. What if I could show my iPad on QuickTime? And so then I was like, okay, maybe I can do QuickTime, so a new movie recording. And if I were to connect my iPad or something and see that, then that could be my controls. Because my problem is I want to do everything live. And so if you're ever doing live stuff, if I can shoot everything live, then I don't have to edit. So then the thought process, well, I could make a Mac app that I could then showcase. And then somewhere on here, maybe here, I could do that. And that was cool, except the SwiftUI symbols that I had copied in didn't work. For whatever reason, they show as non-printable characters on iOS. And then I was like, okay, so now I have to do that a little bit different. So I couldn't just do the symbol itself. I had to do images and text and sort of create a H stack. And I did that. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But that actually might be a better remote control than actually a live, because then I have to do the whole QuickTime dance. And I don't really want to do that. But if I could remote control a presentation, that actually might be even more interesting. So the idea is kind of still in early stages, and you can comment down below if this is something that you might want to use for presenting. So I don't want to have this up. I want to have something like this, but I want it to show the actual shortcuts. So then I made the Mac app version here that's showing these actual shortcuts. And currently I'm using Keycaster. So if I start casting the keys and then I start typing or clicking, and maybe I get rid of clicks, I'm not sure yet. But I have it so that when I click on certain things, it shows a little dot symbol. And I thought about going forward and backward by clicking, but then you see this thing on screen and you hear the click. And I was like, that's not great. What if I just scroll. So I could sort of scroll through, scroll backwards, and then I could talk about these different things. So that's kind of the thought process. Then the other thought process is maybe I want to go full screen and show it, and then go to the next one, and then have a new section like version control, and then have a code review, and then I could exit out a full screen or something like that. Or even just using something like what I'm doing with Super Easy Timer, I could have a title that just appears center screen as I'm working. And I don't know if there's an app that already does this, but I can take the content that's over here, place it right here, and then fade it, and then fade it in over here. So it'd go like black when I advance, or go back, and then it would switch or something like that. I don't know exactly how I want to do it, but like that would prevent me from having to actually put in titles into the actual video in my edits. I could just create the video and then chop, chop, I'm done. So that's kind of the idea right now. This was the video that I filmed. I thought it was okay, but I just didn't love it. And I'm playing around with the color a little bit. I also have been using the Mac's ability to customize sometimes it appears and sometimes it doesn't. Like I don't fully understand it. I guess I see it right here. So I'm playing with portrait mode. I've got it on the like lowest setting, but you can turn that up. It makes my microphone in front look a little bit weird, so I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. But I think a little bit helps me pop out from the background. And then the studio light is a feature that I've got going that sort of makes me pop a little bit differently. And then reactions, I can do this and it will give a thumbs up in the video feed. So that's kind of interesting. I've got that on. I don't love them, but if I want like some interaction and some like, I don't know why that's balloons. I can get some live effects. I don't know what all the effects are, but that's some of them. So that was kind of the inspiration for the idea. If I have something like this, the other thing that I can do is I've got a camera preview of myself, and I look at that behind my webcam when I'm doing my videos. This has been the easiest way to sort of make it look like I'm actually looking at the camera, because a lot of times it was hard for me to do that. Then I can see my expression and I can sort of react and build off of that energy, which I find is super helpful. But I could also take this window and use it side by side, and then I can just sort of walk through my lesson and sort of see what code needs to come next or what topic needs to come next. And it's kind of like some kind of prompter type thing, but it's all based on my notes in Markdown. So that is the gist of this app idea. It's sort of inspired from my, what's the word? Frustration in the quality of the video. I just didn't like it. This morning after I had filmed it, before I think I uploaded it last night, and I just didn't want to post it because I kind of wanted to take a different approach, and I wanted to talk to you about that approach and sort of show you what I did. The other thing that I did is I'm playing around with ChatGPT for this. We weren't allowed to use this at GoPro, but this is my own project, so I can do whatever I want. So I created a set of structs that I wanted to use to represent the content. So I just minimized it, but essentially I want to have this be a title that goes in the top. So I think I just copied this one down here. And so that's the title. And then I've got these two that I put in there in the sample code that I gave to ChatGPT. And so those appear in here. But I wanted one unified list format. So I really wanted it to count for me because I spent time counting all of the ones that I wanted to showcase in the video, but I'd prefer the video to just figure that out as I'm going. And then let me know up front before I start, so I can say like, these are the 37 keyboard shortcuts. And that just makes it easier so that I don't have to manually number things and mess up numbers. And then it's already done for me. So But I wanted to have different sort of sections, and potentially I want to have a summary slide where it might show everything from a section all on one slide, or I can do like the full screen view and show all of that content and be like, summarize, this is what we learned, and sort of walk through those different things. So I think that would be kind of cool. That's kind of like how I came up with the app idea. And ChatGPT was nice because I could give it some structure. I could give it some sample. Like I didn't want to waste a ton of time writing a parser for all of this. And ChatGPT gave me a parser. It's not the most robust. So if I change the number of headlines, it's not going to work because it's dropping the first 4. But it did get the job done for the input that I gave it. And I could specify that, or I could tweak it a little bit myself so that it's not actually dropping these and it's actually like splitting, which would probably be a better bet in this case. But this worked. I asked it for a test case, so it gave me a test case, which was super awesome, and it actually worked. And then I created a second test case based on this one to test the numbering because I wanted numbering. So I wanted the ability to turn numbering on or turn it off so that you can see the 5 here, or if I go up, you see the 4. I don't have it currently working, so I can go back to the previous section. So it's just between this section now since I'm in the version control section. And it gave me that test. And then I wanted to... Then I ran into an issue, like I showed you that earlier, where the iPad version of it, did I close that? Doesn't have the characters displaying correctly. So then I had to go in and actually create a set of views. So this is an image, a text, an image, a text, an image, a text, that one I didn't update the symbol itself. So, long story short, it helped me write that parsing so that I could export that, and that was kind of cool. And then I needed a regex to determine if there were certain symbols. I'm using that to just look for the special character key codes. So that was kind of cool. So it just let me iterate pretty quickly, and then I wanted to use the scrolling, and there's not going to be a scroll view, but I wanted to tie into scrolling up and down to do this slide. As long as I'm over it, it will. And now I just crashed it. So I'll have to rerun it. But that's just a cool way to go upwards and then back with just the scroll wheel. I don't have to click on anything. It's pretty easy. I could have something on the iPad remote controlling it. Using multi-peer connectivity kind of sounds appealing to do something like that. So I'm excited about maybe messing around with that, but I don't need that for the video that I'm creating. I just need like the simplest thing, which is just like, if I can go backwards and forwards without crashing, we're in a good direction. And then maybe if I have a button to like show the whole slide versus just the single elements, that might be also useful. Okay, so that's kind of where the app idea came from. I don't remember if there's anything else I wanted to showcase. I think that was it. But that's how I came up with an app idea. It's sort of MVP, like this is everything right now. It's 187 lines of code, essentially, that's doing everything that you see here. And then I have some test code. So if we expand this, I've got a couple tests right here. So that's the start of a little presentation application that I think will be useful for the types of content that I want to create, and give me some springboard ideas for maybe how I might be able to monetize this or improve it so that other people might find it useful. So right now, I'm just building it for me, but you can comment down below if you find that interesting, if you have app ideas, or if you're trying to come up with app ideas. I think it's best to start with something where you're actually solving a problem. And for me, this is a problem I had. It's a minor problem, and it's something I could have fixed by just editing, but I'm trying to limit what I do in edits. And I really just want to chop, done. So that's kind of the direction of this. The philosophy I have is that you care more about interesting content and you don't really care for jump edits. Like me personally, I don't like jump edits. I don't like the pace of just being like nonstop words. I find it overwhelming and it's information overload. So with something like this, I can talk naturally. I can have transitions. I can show things. I can have something off to the side so that I can stay on track and know where I'm going in bite-sized content. Previously, I would just have a markdown file and I would sort of read that, but that's a lot of stuff that I have to like look around. If I can focus it on just bite-sized chunks, like here's a code snippet, and I just show that code snippet of like what I need to modify, that makes it a lot easier for me as an educator to know where I'm going, and then I can talk about where we're going and I can talk about doing it. And I don't have to be like, oh, I forget what that API is because I just have it. So I think I'm going to call it something like Markdown Presenter or Markdown Slideshow. And it's going to support sort of some full screen elements as well as just being a window that you can interact with. So I'll see you in the next video. The next video is going to be about these keyboard shortcuts. So I hope that this sort of behind the scenes look was interesting. If it was, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to actually talk about a lot of the keyboard shortcuts that I use in Xcode. We're first going to talk about navigation keyboard shortcuts, and then we're going to get into editing keyboard shortcuts. And then after that, we're going to play around with Vim mode. So that's going to be a separate video. Those are 3 new videos, probably 4. I'll probably have multiple videos on Vim mode in Xcode, as well as just learning it and breaking down what the most effective ones to master are. So I'll see you in those videos. Thanks for watching.